As with everything in Civil 3D, once you create an object, you can always change its properties without having to recreate that object. The Alignment Properties dialog box is where you change a lot of the alignment properties, such as stationing, masking, how edits are displayed, and design criteria. Let's go ahead and take a look at the alignment properties for the alignment that we have created here. To do so, simply select the alignment in the contextual ribbon, choose the Alignment Properties tool from the Modify panel. The Information tab is where you can define the style for the alignment. I'll go ahead and simply change this to something completely different. And notice how it will update in the drawing automatically, and the type of alignment that this should be. Station Control is where you define the actual reference point for the beginning station and the actual stationing. So let's say we decide that this alignment should have started actually at 10 plus a pair. I'll simply make the edit, type in 10 plus a pair, click Apply. It'll warn me stating that any references along the alignment may adversely affect the other objects, just telling me that this might be a problem. I'll click OK to continue, and then I'll click Apply here, and all of the stationing will update automatically. Masking allows you to mask out any regions that you may not want to see stationing and labeling. So let's say you have a bridge in a specific area. You can select the station range that you want to apply this masking to. I'll click Apply, and as you can see, it automatically will mask out that part of the alignment. You can even toggle them off and still keep it in the alignment properties. The Point of Intersection tab is where you define, when you select an alignment, how you want to allow it to change the individual curves and curve groups and so on. The Constraint Editing is also where you define how it should make edits as you select the grips and move the alignment around. The Design Criteria tab is where you will define any kind of design criteria should you be following AASHTO standards, or let's say your agency that you are developing this project for will follow super elevation tables as well. Simply toggle on Use Criteria-Based Design. If you do not at least have one design speed defined in there, you will need to create one, so I will click Yes. And then you can simply change the different station-to-station limits of where your start and end design speeds are located. If I need to add a station in here, I can simply click Add, and then selecting in here, I can define within the drawing the actual station of where a new design speed will begin. You can also define the criteria that you want to use, AASHTO 2004. If you need AASHTO 2001, you can simply select the Browse button here and choose the appropriate XML file. Then you would simply select the radius table that you want to apply, whether it's a 2-lane or 4-lane, and whether it's crowned or a planar type road. Design check sets are also available for checking the specific individual horizontal elements, such as tangents and arcs. For instance, you could create a design check set for, let's say, like a subdivision design that will check to see if a curve is greater than or less than a specific value that you enter. This is also a nice little toggle. It will check for tangencies between elements, so you'll be able to see if two objects are tangent next to each other. I'll click OK here, and then you'll notice that you do also get some visual feedback that tells you that your minimum radius is violated, and you will need to change that based on the design speed that you are developing this project for. There is nothing stopping you from leaving it as is and creating your roadway. However, this just gives you a nice visual feedback that tells you you are violating that minimum radius. This concludes this video on alignment properties. Civil 3D has many ways that you can report on alignments. You can use the panorama window as well, and you can use the toolbox. Let's look at the panorama window. I will select my alignment, choose the geometry editor in the contextual tab. In the alignment grid view setting, I will fly into the panorama window, and I can copy any of the columns listed here by simply selecting them, holding the Shift or Control key down, and then right-clicking, Copy Selected, or Copy All. Then you can paste that into Excel and do what you want with it. One thing to also note is that if you do not see a column that you think you should see, you can actually right-click on here and add in the column, and then you will have the ability to copy and paste that column into Excel. If you'd like to use the default reporting in Civil 3D, navigate to the toolbox in the tool space. If this is not open, simply select the toolbox button here in the palettes panel, and then under the reports manager, you'll have alignment, and there are various reports that you can use. For instance, if I want a simple alignment curve report, I'll simply double click this, pick the Pick from Drawing button, select my alignment, click OK, and then give it a name. So we'll call this one bypass 1. And then in your default browser, you will have an alignment curve report showing you the tangent and curve data. There are also some additional reports here, such as a legal description, also incremental stationing report, which is also very nice. It'll actually show you at a specific interval, you can see the northing and easting for the interval that you define. If you want to see a PI station report, I will simply double click that, select the alignment, toggle on create report, and just like that, I now have the PI stations and the northing and easting and the distances they are from the alignment. So when you need to report an alignment, you will have no problem getting the data you need out to a file. This concludes this video discussing alignment reporting. Civil 3D provides many ways to create labels and tables in your drawing. To begin the label creation process, there are a couple of ways. If you don't have your alignment selected, you can simply go to the Annotate tab and choose the Labels and Tables panel and then select the appropriate tool. Either Add Labels or Add Tables. If you want to narrow down the labels to choose from, simply select the alignment, and then in the Labels and Tables panel, you can then add specifically the alignment labels that you want. Note, by selecting this tool here, it will use the default command settings defined in the Settings tab to add those labels. It is recommended that you actually select the Add Alignment Labels, which opens the dialog box, allowing you to actually see what styles are being used. Let's talk about station offset labels. There are two types of station offset labels, one called fixed point and one called station offset. The fixed point station offset allows you to add a station offset label at a fixed point, which is really great in case you ever want to move the alignment and you want that label to update automatically based on where you move it. It'll automatically just stay where it is at a fixed point and update based on the changes you make to your alignment. You can add a station offset label, which will stay with the alignment. So if I select this alignment, define my station offsets, if I move this alignment at all, it will move along with it, which is also a nice tool to have. You then have single and multiple segments, which I'll just go over the multiple segments, as the single segment will just do single segments. And you can define line and curve and spiral label styles to apply to your segments within your alignment. I'll simply click on Add. I'll just pick my alignment, and then automatically you get labels at the tangents and the arcs. These labels are masked by default, and you can change that if you need to, but what's really cool about these labels is that they provide these grips that allow you to slide and move them along the alignment. You can also select the square grip, which will put it into a drag state, allowing you to drag it away from the alignment if you need to. You also have the ability to add labels for PIs or multiple PIs, so I'll just pick on multiple points of intersection, and then you can select the label styles as defined by the drawing template that you want to add into your drawing. So I'll add the PI index, easting northing with curve data. Click Add, select my alignment, and automatically I'm going to have PI labels at each individual point of intersection. Again, all these labels are completely dynamic, and if anything changes about the alignment, all the labels will update automatically, saving you a ton of time in labeling your alignment. Lastly, let's talk about tables. In the Add Tables dropdown, I can select the table that I'd like to add. In this case, I want to add a segment table, and I can pick a table style, which defines what should be in each individual column. You select your alignment, click OK, and this will be a dynamic table, and what it will automatically do is it will make the tangents and curves tagged with numbers that will be read into the table automatically. If anything changes about the alignment, of course, the table will update automatically. One little item to note is that when you create a table within AutoCAD Civil 3D, if the numbers are off, where you can define the number, or where you can renumber this, is by selecting it and choosing the renumber tags. Now you can only do this one at a time, but at least you can do it. Now if the next number is, let's say, L10 or 11, but you want this to be L1, what you can do is in the Settings tab, right-click on the name of the file, go to Table Tag Numbering, and then redefine the starting number for the lines as well as the curves within your alignment. What's also really nice is that tables are annotative automatically. So when you change your annotation scale, the tables will update automatically. So you can have tables in model space, unlike AutoCAD tables that should be placed in paper space because they are not annotative. This concludes this video discussing alignment labels and tables.